Hey y'all, it's your girl Alexisgabrielle, and today I have a special guest. Come on, mention yourself. What's your name?
I'm Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan Wade, aka JayWade.
JayWade, okay. Trying to be fresh with it. Okay, check you out.
Yeah.
So, today I just brought this special guest. He's a really good friend of mine, and honestly, he has a lot to say. And he just brings a male perspective to the group. So me, I'm always representing for the ladies. So yeah, you can represent for the men. Let's see what you got. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try.
So today we will be talking about advice. Giving advice to your friends. For me, advice is like necessary, especially as women. Like sometimes we need it, and sometimes we feel like we don't want to hear it, but we do need it in certain circumstances. As far as like your life, just like not even relationships, but I know I be needing that shoulder to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
So like as a dude, do you ever come to your friends like, hey, I'm going through this. How can you help me?
You know what? I think the closest, to be honest, is that when I ask my friends for advice, it's like for certain things I'm dealing with, like whether it be like a school or something like financial. Because the friends I have, like they kind of, are people that I can look to really help. You know what I'm saying? When I need them. So, but honestly though, who I really depend on for advice is like my family.
Your
sometimes.
family, okay, family based. That's a family man, ladies. Look. No, but honestly, I feel like with me personally, I'm a crybaby. Like, dude, I cry about every single thing. The weather could be like today. The weather too cold. I'm crying. Like, why is it this cold? I need advice. Right. And for me, it's like the people in my life, like. It's certain people that I vent to about certain things, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it could be a situation where just my blog or something, I go and vent to someone that can relate to me in my circle. If it's something like the weather, how I'm feeling today, not necessarily, like, diving into my emotions, then I can vent to you right now, anybody. Right. Like, somebody up in here just close to the vicinity, like, I'm just talking. That's just me. Like, but as women, like, we talkative. Like, I'm not gonna say all women are talkative, but mostly, like, we vent. You're gonna know how we're feeling, especially me. You gonna know.
Yeah.
So, like, with you, do you feel like you could just talk to anybody with certain situations? No.
No. I've always had specific people that I go to. Always, because I know, and I'm a firm believer that, like, everyone in my life is here for a reason. So I might go to someone for a certain advice. And also, I often actually get a lot of female perspective, because I've noticed one thing, it's common, like, females are, like, good listeners. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That boy said, that's the first man. Y'all, come on, come into the camera. You the first man that said females are good listeners. So y'all heard it here. So y'all niggas need to stop saying that girls don't listen, because we sure do. Thank you very much. Okay, continue.
So, so when I come to them about certain things, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Like relationships?
Yeah, that's when I
like
when
sex
I come
and stuff like that.
And and more so just really just depending on
like how you talk to a girl. What should I do? This, that, and the other.
Yeah,
that's cool, because sometimes I don't know. I don't really come. Well, I got my own man, but like when I didn't, I ain't really come to another dude like, why is he doing this? I just try to analyze it myself, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe I needed somebody to go to for advice. Like, why he doing this, or why I feel like this, and what could this mean by that? Like sometimes you just need that person to be there and be like, okay, calm down, you're overreacting, stuff like that. That's essential.
I was gonna say, like, for certain people, like, so I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast the other day, and they were talking about
his ass.
He's something else, but
but it's okay. It's okay.
Sometimes he makes some valid points. I was just gonna say, like, they were talking about the Kevin Hart situation and how
he was cheating.
Yeah, how he was cheating, and they were.
He's so in love though.
So, but he was talking about how in like when you're in relationships, it's sometimes a horrible idea to listen to your friends. But he said, especially from a female perspective, because sometimes I guess
get blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like he doing this because he cheating. He doing this. Yeah, with females we do just jump the gun. We be like, man, he ain't pick up the phone. He must be with this bitch. He ain't with his friends. He ain't playing basketball. Right, exactly. And then you get on the phone with your friends. You already got your preconceived notions. Right. So you get on the phone with your friends, and you already telling them like, yeah, this nigga cheating. And they like, oh, for real, let's pull up. And then the whole time he at work. Yeah. Now you looking dumb.
So his advice in that part basically was saying, if you're gonna take advice from anybody, for real, I think it applies to anybody. But since the topic was about female friends and females to their female friends, he was saying basically, just make sure that person is going to be logical. You know what I'm saying? For you. Because you don't want to end up with some
you
dumb
ain't
stuff.
Logical. Like, you ain't thinking logical. So make sure the person. That's some keys right there. We dropping gems. Make sure the person you are talking to is thinking logical, because at the same time, like, you might not be in a clear headspace. You might not be thinking like, why is this happening, or how can I fix this? So make sure the person that you talking to when you come for advice knows like your situation. They know you as a person, so
that's so true.
Yep.
And that's what
right there texting me. Let's stop.
Okay. Anyway, but anyway, so and sometimes I come to my homies for relationship advice too, because
what they be saying? Fuck your bitch, leave her.
They challenge me to think about the situation. That's all.
Really?
And they really do.
Okay, you got some cool homeboys. A lot of people don't. A lot of dudes don't have them type of homeboys. They be like, you know what? Come on, I got a bottle. Let's go. I know this spot.
Yeah, that's how. And you know what? Honestly, it's how some people cope with it. Now, for me personally, I can't. I can only do those type of things for fun. So. If any of my homies tell me that, I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool. Head on straight. Look.
I can't do that. You silly, man. But that's how I feel about it. So, but our advice to other people. Now, I don't know. Sometimes, I'm going to start it off. I'll kick it off.
Alright, what's your advice to the listeners and the viewers?
Well, I'm going to say be thoughtful of who you're giving advice to, because let's just say y'all end up, because naturally we all just want to give advice. We don't really want to listen. Sometimes we don't want to listen, and we just eager to help. But sometimes when we giving advice and you start to notice a pattern of how a person is acting, and the pattern I'm talking about is that they're not listening, and sometimes you have to really be careful and slow down and like really think about do I need to be giving advice to this person?
True. I was just going to say the same thing.
Because it's because I know, I've learned, I'm 24, so I've learned.
Grown man. Look, I'm sorry.
I've learned to actually be careful on who I'm giving advice, or make sure that person wants the advice. Because if you don't want the advice, or if you ain't going to listen, then
what's the point?
What am I talking for? I'm wasting my time. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, my advice to y'all is basically be in a clear head space when you giving advice. Like, I'm not finna give my friends no janky advice. Like, if I wouldn't do it, if you wouldn't do it personally and you wouldn't follow your own advice that you're giving to someone else, don't tell that person to do that, because you know how you would feel if it would backfire on you. So don't just be telling them anything just to get them off your phone, or just to get them to stop ranting and venting and stuff. Like, for real. Because I know if my friend is going through something, I'm not finna tell her, man, just go out there and do this, go be a hoe, because I ain't no hoe, so I ain't gonna give that advice to her, you feel me? So it's deeper. Like, if you giving advice, make sure that's coming from a place like to help. Just don't be giving advice just to be saying anything, because it's a lot of people that just be like, alright, man, you just do this and get out my face. Nah. And just to piggyback off of what you were saying, Jordan, definitely make sure your advice is heard. I'm not gonna continue to tell you to leave this nigga or to get your life together if you gonna go right back and do the same thing. It's no point, because at this moment you just wasting my time, honestly. And I don't care to tell you anything. But if your heart is there, the person is listening, and they're taking heed to what you're saying, continue to do that, because at the end of the day, they're going to thank you for that, and they're going to be a better person. And you're going to be a better person by giving this person this advice, because now you can piggyback off on what you're saying. You're like, okay, I just gave this advice. Now, how can I apply that in my life? Because everybody go through different things at different times. You never know. Your friend might be going through something, and later on down in your life, you could be going through the same thing. So now, just apply it to yours.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, in relationships, I think are the hardest. Even for me, like, even as a person that might be in a relationship and you trying to give me advice, it's very hard, because you are, some people. I'm not gonna say all people, because there's a lot of people that ain't emotional, but a lot of it's emotional when you're trying to give advice. Yeah, so me too. I'm Pisces.
So we emotional.
Yeah. So you know what? I don't really dive into zodiac signs, but that's
don't do
topic.
that, because I do.
But nah, that's all.
Let me give you some advice.
See, but nah. So yeah, I think that's the hardest. The hardest one is to really just be able to, when you're in your emotions and you think, like, when someone's in their emotions and they think in one track, or they have a zone that they're in, it's hard. People say, you're right. Then, do another thing. You know what I'm saying?
On the flip side, they can fuel you to do something.
True.
Correct. So it just depends on the person and the situation, honestly. Like, you never know when something can come into play and how you may feel when it does. So you just got to do what's best for you. Oh, and another thing with advice. I can give, or someone can give me advice all day long, but if I don't feel like it's going to work for me in my situation, then don't take it. Just say, thank you for your advice. Don't be rude about it. Be like, thank you, okay, I needed that, but still, at the end of the day, do you. That's it. You got to do you. You got to make sure you are good. So, just make sure everything is good with you in your life. So, to wrap that up, this is the podcast with advice with my dear friend, JayWade. Okay, thanks for listening, y'all. See you next time.